Anti-communists, skeptics of communism, and any person with vague anti-leftist sentiment often have the same tired old counter-arguments against any possible pro-communist argument. But strangely and perhaps funnily enough, all anti-communists seem to forget a very important concession they must accept being on team anti-communism. And this fact? Communists fight for everyone, including their opponents, anyway. Hey everybody, welcome to Just Another Wise Guy channel, or JOG for short. You're watching mid-quality gameplay while listening to my high-quality rants. My name is Jake, aka creator of popular television show Butcher Biden Gets the Gulag, and in this video we're going to talk about anti-communism. Without further ado, let's just jump right in. Liberals, centrists, conservatives, fascists, none of these political groups can offer a universally inclusive ideology for all people of all backgrounds. Conservatives in America only seek ideological presence in their own respective constituencies, pandering to mostly white and/or wealthy working-class Americans. Liberals in America only seek ideological presence in their own respective constituencies, pandering to mostly people of color and/or poor working people. These two ideologies are propped up by the Republican and Democratic parties, and they function as the only two dominant political parties of mainstream thought. Yet, decades and decades of passing time has revealed to the American people and the rest of the world that Republicans and Democrats are continuously, repeatedly incapable of representing American people. This revelation can be seen undeniably in the egregious American voter turnout rate. Americans would vote in their elections if they believed in their own political power, and most of them very much don't vote, with the ones who do vote often admitting the poor quality of the candidates, or voters admitting bizarre loyalty to a party that does nothing for them. This revelation of liberal and conservative ineptitude can also be seen in the popular response of recent rising class consciousness, including a historic popularity for socialist ideas, the highest receptivity to Americans it has ever been. This revelation is also extremely obvious by the policies and politicians these two parties have created over the last century or so, and how none of their agenda, or at the very least 99% of the things they pass, do not at all represent American working people's needs or wants. The fact of the matter is, the political interests of the Republican and Democrat parties are the same, and they are not the interests of all individuals, of all the masses, of all working people. And I mean, you can try an alternative with the Green Party or the Libertarian Party, but they aren't exactly suitable either, are they? Both of these groups have little to no political power in America, and they seem to have an inability to resonate with the majority of the population because they do not represent the wants and needs of working people. Sure, the Green Party supports environmentalism, great. But they also don't explicitly offer not just anti-capitalist philosophy, but systemic alternatives to our societal problems. They support a green transition, but not liberation, to free all working people. And then, sure, libertarians believe in self-sufficiency, great. But they also want to abolish the Department of Education? I mean, not the Department of Defense? Like, so big government for school is bad, but for war it's good? I mean, this campaign advocating for abolishment of vital branches of government, of any government, is infantile daydreaming at best. Libertarianism is a mistaken ideology, just like pro-capitalist environmentalism. Run from it, hide from it, the truth remains all the same. I think I'm butchering a Thanos quote right now, but whatever, nonetheless. But no political people are more successful in defeating imperialism and capitalism than communists and socialists. No other political group of people have shown a successful and continually successful independence from dominant capitalist/imperial world powers. Cuba and Vietnam, two nations who have endured constant abuse at the hands of the United States, still stand strong to this day with their different projects reaching different levels of success. The economic world power to destroy absolute poverty wasn't the capitalist United States, but a Communist Party-run China. The state-controlled reintroduction of foreign investment, monitored by the dictatorship of the proletariat, has brought record-breaking developmental success for our East Asian family members. While I know many comrades have very correct criticisms of modern-day China, In my personal opinion, regardless of any legitimate criticisms, they are working to defeat world poverty, and the United States was nowhere to be found. If anything, only making it worse. Now, there's another part to my argument, because you might say, well, of course liberals don't seek to win over conservatives and vice versa, and all those various combinations. They want to get support from the people who actually support them. But what we must concede with this fact, logically, is that conservatives will not look out for liberals. Liberals will not look out for conservatives. Green Party members and Libertarian Party members in America couldn't be more ideologically opposed. Why would either look out for the other? Liberals will take the vitriol they receive and convert it into self-absorption fuel for their holier-than-thou complex. Liberals, like conservatives with them, have fetishized the ideas of martyrdom and persecution themselves. They weaponize the resulting rightful reactions of those who stand against them as proof of their legitimacy, a byproduct of American exceptionalism, our version of nationalism. See all these people I'm making mad? I must be doing something right. After all, I support X and Y and Z and etc. This is how they think. Liberals don't view any other ideology but theirs as legitimate, because liberals perpetuate and support the very same status quo they claim we can reform. So whether they're pissing off conservatives, anarchists, socialists, communists, their delusional bourgeois mental gymnastics remain the same. Ironically, or perhaps more accurately coincidentally, right-wingers exhibit a similar phenomenon, except in their instance, conservatives will relish the reaction of mass popular dissent with their token shit-eating grins, smiling faces, happy to oppress the masses if it means the maintenance of their possession of the status quo and the traditionalism they cling to. Both of these groups benefit from keeping the status quo, and ultimately, liberals and conservatives offer no legitimate routes for progressive bipartisanship and collaboration. They have cemented themselves as the alleged only two viable political parties. Yet, they are pathologically incapable of working together, with the only instances of their collaboration occurring for the sake of their own self-interest. Republicans, Democrats, Green Party members, Libertarians, every single mainstream political group in America has shown time and time again that they are not well equipped to run a nation, our nation. They've shown they do not understand our problems. Republicans and Democrats especially have shown they are willing to take bribes if it means loftier lives for themselves, paying no regard to the worsening lives of the people who put them in office. You may not like this, but it's just simply true. Communists and socialists fight for all people. Even anarchists have their limits, as they believe in the immediate dissolution of the state and also don't organize themselves via a political party, two aspects of their ideology which only seem to contribute to the lack of any successful anarchist societies. This isn't meant to knock anarchists. At the end of the day, anarchists are comrades, but we have history for a reason, and that history does not prove the strength and resilience of anarchist-run societies, I'm sorry to say. Communists and socialists, and anarchists too, defeated the Nazis. Communists and socialists were able to fully industrialize a feudal monarchy into a socialist world power within 10 years. No other political group of people have a higher success rate of creating a new society and building a brighter, better world than socialists, communists, and all of my comrades. Despite our proven track record, despite a successful history defeating the United States and other fascist powers, despite destroying absolute poverty in China and much of the world, despite devoting our lives to the revolutionary cause, all anti-communists seem to hate us, just hate us, absolutely hate us. Many anti-communists have a visceral, rabid hatred of anything Marxist. They are so deeply conditioned to feel distrust of anything red, thanks to capitalist influence, that they won't hear out a single word any of us say without screeching, "Ree, red fash, tanky, ree, vuvuzela, ree, communist propaganda," or whatever it may be. And yet, despite this, the left still fights for their opponents. The left does not wish death and misery to their dissenters. Socialists and communists do not threaten you with the result of lesser than two evils elections to justify their ideology and political system. Socialists and communists do not build walls to keep out immigrants. We don't demonize or villainize any group of people. Hell, we focus more on the system of capitalism than the actual capitalists themselves because we understand the system creates and supports them, and that the specific people in charge aren't necessarily the core problem. But the core problem is how the whole show is run, although the people in power certainly aren't helping. Socialists and communists will not force you to endure lessening quality lives while they get to live comfortably. Socialists and communists will not colonize foreign lands to build a state in their name, committing genocide and ethnic cleansing to maintain legitimacy and acquire territory for imperial growth. Socialists and communists will not interfere in democratic foreign elections. Socialists and communists will not employ you with slave wages, coerce you into dystopian working conditions, mock you to your face with the fruits of their own success, and deny you the ability to change your working conditions. No, socialists and communists, despite being the most hated political group in all of world history, despite our mistakes in the past, we still fight for all people. Socialists and communists have no interest but to represent you. We can see the liberals and conservatives joking about our deaths. We see people who do not understand an iota of Marxism telling normies and the average unsuspecting person that socialist communists are evil red-fashed tankies who want to take away your iPhone and force you into breadlines. We see the history of the Red Scare. We see how Western films portray their own civilizations. We see the movies and shows of CIA and FBI agents doing cool action hero activities like they aren't committing human rights violations God knows where, using inconceivably depraved methods for decades. We see you in the media shooting the communist Russians, the communist Chinese, and Arabs of any kind. People who tend to fight against American imperialism. We see the same parroted, horribly ignorant, and mistaken points about whatever nonsense any specific anti-communist believes. We see you shooting and killing us in video games. We see and hear your jokes about the misery communist movements have had to endure at the hands of Western imperial powers, about how those damn evil commies, like the Vietnamese or Koreans, deserve to suffer because of their ideology. We see you laugh and joke with each other with your petty offhand remarks and Yankee original gotchas, thinking to yourselves, ooh, we got those commies so good. Like, Jesus Christ. It's ridiculous. We can see your yearly half-wit discussions on Tiananmen Square. We see you talk about the Holodomor, famine in China, like you have the right idea, like you understand what the right idea is. We see all of this, and still, we fight and die for all of you, for all of us. We lose our jobs, we suffer financial setbacks, we put our lives on the line, we dedicate our lives to revolution, we throw away so much of what we once had to build something right. We regularly endure unprecedented censorship, discrimination, and oppression on the daily. And we bear that weight proudly, because we understand why it happens, and we don't let that deter why we fight. Because we fight for you just as much as we fight for ourselves. Because despite all anti-communists offering no sympathy and no willingness to compromise, with nothing but ridicule and persecution, we still fight for you all the same. And tell me, can any of you other political people or just people in general say the same? Can liberals, conservatives, can any other political group confidently say they represent and fight for all people? Again, anarchists have a history of separating themselves from communists, socialists, and the like, which means we are willing to compromise with them, but they are a little unwilling to compromise with us. Not really sure how to avoid this issue yet. At this point, I don't need to ask any more rhetorical questions. The truth speaks for itself, and it's loud and clear. Communists and socialists have an undying revolutionary passion for the liberation of all people, and a successful track record, something you will not find in many other or any other political groups. The other groups will try to convince you otherwise and joke about other groups or wish casually terrible things upon them. I've seen some pretty disgusting viewpoints from liberals and conservatives over the years, and frankly I'm not sure they're qualified to run politics at all in any way. And just remember, when you say no to communism, you indirectly say yes to the status quo. Yes, you may not necessarily support the status quo right now, but you absolutely have to accept it implicitly by rejecting this political change. We've tried the status quo. We've tried capitalism. The USSR was illegally dissolved. It didn't collapse. Just a little over 30 years ago, and America is at the height of capitalist deterioration of our society. The time has come for change. The time has come for revolution. The time has come where we must ask ourselves the ugly question, must we do the unthinkable? Must we take back our government and society without permission or forgiveness? Because the alternative certainly seems grim. So, I'm ready. I'm ready when you are. And with that said, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments or check out my other available content. Like if you wish, subscribe if you can. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.